So I drove the GT350 back to my friend's house. I'd been keeping it in my house. I'd been cleaning it and working on it a little bit, getting it ready for the body shop evaluation. And I was wondering if this was the last time I was going to see this car. So I decided to make a good little walk around video of it after I had cleaned it up and shown it, because this could have been the last time I had seen it. My friend was up in the air about selling it. He had a couple people who were set on buying it and willing to come and get it, but then he ultimately decided to go ahead and keep the car. So he put a new filter on it and got it cleaned up a little more in case he was going to sell it, but ultimately we took it to the body shop.
That's not terrible. Nice if the sun was out. At least get it all parked there.
This is what the guy was calling fish eyes.
It was hit here. See,
Well, and the gap needs to be... They said they could adjust the hinge or something, but...
Yeah, you're just running full adjustment. I don't know what he's got on the bid.
Oh no, he's very good.
Yeah. There's more of a gap here on this side, so...
There's a couple ways of doing this. Painting it, making it look good. Taking it apart and like really gutting it, fixing it, making sure everything.
See what he's got to do. See all this crap here. He says that's junk. He says this. He'll sand it. This is garbage here.
The thing is you might open up a can of worms once you start realizing what's in there.
That's what I told him. I had a Lexus that the bumper got hit, you know, and once they got the bumper off, they had another $1,000 of damage behind the taillight they had to fix.
I hope the price doesn't change.
Well, like if you look at this, here's their spot weld here. Their panel needs to be sucked in another 1/4 of an inch. I mean, essentially, you have water gap coming in. You have all types
Yeah, I could see light through it on this side.
that shouldn't be there. I mean, I wish we had a Mustang here that you could look at. I mean, you could look at the old 90s or early 2000 Mustangs. It's probably the same thing.
Well, they had one here yesterday.
Oh yeah.
That would have been
Roush.
Roush. Yeah.
We'll give it a couple of pictures because these aren't too bad, so maybe it's not.
He doesn't think he didn't think he replaced the whole thing. There should be a line here. They think they put the inner panel in, according to Jason. He thinks they put these in.
Thanks.
The inner panels. That's what he thinks they did. Because you can see the weld marks inside. So they didn't put a whole quarter on it. They didn't do this whole thing.
But do you think they did the body work on this then? Because
Yeah,
it was smashed right here,
Yeah.
and it hit the inside of the door.
Yeah, I got it.
So there's a repair on the inside of the door. Yeah.
That's what Jason's thinking.
I would reassess the whole estimate once the bumper's off, the lights are out, and we've actually can see some stuff.
Well, here's the thing. I don't want to
It
spend a
can
lot of
be
money.
real bad.
See, I can sell this car.
I would say take it apart, we can fix there.
See, that's the thing. I get rid of it the way it is.
Yeah.
It runs really good. I mean, it does drive nice. It does.
fun to look around the shop. My friend ultimately decided that he was going to go ahead and repair the car and keep it. It was a hard decision. He did have some buyers who would have taken it, and it was just something he decided to go ahead and do, and this is going to be fun to see. So this is what I need. I need one of these. Snap on. So he wanted me to take the stripes off the car, so we got around to doing that. He basically made a good deal with the body shop, and they said they are willing to give him a pretty fixed price and do everything they wanted to do to make it to his satisfaction. But that included taking the stripes off because my friend does not like the stripes. That's a pretty controversial thing for me because I know they're just vinyl stickers, but they are like a $1,000 option, and they are vinyl. And so I think it's really neat that they were put on from the factory. They weren't added just by somebody else. And so to me, that makes them a GT350 specific part. So it's kind of hard for me to take these off. I didn't want to take them off because I just love cars the way they were born. I think this one was, a striped car and that it should be left the way it was, but that's okay. The car is not 100% original anyway, and it's going to have some work done to it. So ultimately, it's about getting the car you want the way you want it, and that's what my friend is getting. And so the shop said, well, we can take the stripes off too, but we'll charge you labor hours and everything. And so my friend asked if I would be willing to take the stripes off. So I said, yeah, sure, I'll do it. I'd be happy to take them off, and maybe I'll keep part of them to put on the wall or on my toolbox or something. And these stripes, being vinyl, had some marks on them. All it takes is washing it the wrong way and you'll scratch them up really easily. So they weren't perfect anyway, but I'm kind of torn on the idea. I kind of like it with the stripes, but he likes it without, and that's perfectly fine. We had a big debate about that. I was saying, wouldn't you keep the stripes on it if it was a 66 GT350? And it just depends on what it is. And he said, no, this car isn't as rare as a 66 GT350. And, it is what it is. He wants the stripes off. He loves ruby red. He wants to see more of the ruby red. And that's the reason he bought the car, because he loves the color. And so that's fine. That's his choice. And so I didn't try to talk him out of it. So we had to take off the hood vent. There's like a little ground or a little anchor bracket there. The vent kind of slides in and clicks down. So you got to pry it out very gently. Little pieces of the tab still broke off no matter what we tried. This stripe won't come off because it has clear coat over it from the body shop. But we did need to take off the rear spoiler as well and continue to take off all the striping. So this little part twisted out, so we figured out how to get that off. And then there's little push pins, and some of these were missing anyway. And then we just pushed that through and worked it around the latch. And then the bolts to the spoiler, the studs, and the nuts come through here. So I would lower it and take them out by hand so that I didn't drop a nut down inside the trunk lid. And then getting the spoiler off, I knew it would have some double-sided adhesive in there as well. And so we gently pried it till we got it off just right. And of course, it's going to be dirty under there. Every car will be, no big deal. It just needs to be cleaned up. Trunk lid's being repainted anyway, so didn't really matter, but we were as careful as we could be with it. Going back to the stripes on the hood, you'll see some of the ghost lines there, and I'm going to paint correct the hood just to get that all smooth, and it turned out pretty nicely. You'll see it here, but continued pulling the stripes off, and it still left some glue behind, kind of like window tint. Sometimes you can pull window tint off and you think that you got everything, but then the glue is still left behind. Here I decided to tease my friend. Oh, my heart.
What happened?
Oh, my heart.
My heart. It hurts. Wow.
That was my little joke from the movie Clifford with Martin Short, where he pretends like his heart hurts so that the kid will run back to him. If you've ever seen that movie, really funny. So that's what I was thinking of when I took the stripes off, is, oh, this hurts to do this, but I'll do it because you want me to. But, you know. But anyway, I wanted to keep the stripes and, you know, put them on the wall or something, but they do stretch when they come off, and I knew they were going to, but the wind was also blowing pretty bad, and so it was ruining them, and some of them tore when you take them off. So I did keep some slivers of the stripes, so I have some part of this GT350. But getting the stripe off was pretty good. I knew there would be ghost lines. I knew the paint would be, you know, a little bit nicer underneath the stripes, but it actually turned out really well when I did the paint correction on it. You can't really even tell it was there. So I wanted to go ahead and clean the deck lid and just lightly dab off this dirt and just clean it up with the microfiber. The whole trunk lid's going to be repainted anyway, so it's not a big deal, but I did want the car to look as good as it could for the body shop so they can continue their final evaluation and just get the car looking good overall, because my friend was going to drive it around a little bit too, so just wanted it to look good and clean up. So I wasn't going to do the paint correction on the trunk lid because there's no point in all that extra work and time, but we did get all the double-sided tape off. There's a lot of that sticky gluey stuff on there. Used a little bit of Goo Gone, and you can see the line of the stripes there on the roof. I did do that with the buffer and the hood as well, because you can see those lines. And it's mostly just kind of glue lines. It wasn't too bad. And so it looks kind of nice overall. You can see there's a spot there on the center of the hood. And that was there when we pulled the stripes back, so it was already hidden. I don't know if that would be a issue from the factory. It must have been, because it was hiding underneath the stripes. So then I went through and clay barred the car. We gave it a nice wash with wash and wax soap. I used different grades of buffing compound. I do have the shade over it for those who say I shouldn't be detailing in the sun, because I try not to. But anyway, I went over the hood and just went with different grades to get it worked out the best I could without going too aggressive on it. But it was looking really good. The hood is not going to be repainted, so we wanted to make sure to do that right, nor is the front bumper. And so got everything looking really nice there. Of course, in the cloud coverage, it's going to look good. But it actually started to rain a little bit on us. Next thing we know, it was a downpour right in the middle of all of it. We moved the sunshade away because the wind was blowing. We didn't want it to whack the car. So the rain finally stopped and we went back out, dried the car off, cleaned it up a little bit, and went back to work and just worked it out nicely and continued. Everything looked really good, and I think overall this is a very beautiful car, and he's very happy with it. I'm very happy with it. So here's just kind of an overview of what the car looks like now without the stripes on it. So if you're a fan or not, leave that in the comments. Yeah.
Which is the good side? This side.
This side. All turned out pretty good. I went in and made some dinner for me and the kids while my wife was gone. I like eating in the driveway. It's like a picnic. So I put some of the stripes on the wall at first just to see how they'd hold up, and they kind of stuck. But then I laid them out in my front room and kind of cut them up and got good spots, little slivers of them that worked out nicely, and put them on my toolbox. So that's the update for the Shelby GT350. It is on its way to the body shop, and it is going to be redone, and we'll follow the work. And if that's something you like to see, then I hope you enjoy watching the video and you'll continue watching the series. So thanks for watching, and stay tuned for more Mustang content.